Hello and welcome back to Yort's Martial Arts Journal. Thank you for joining me. It's good to see you here. Let's get right into it. I'm doing this one a bit earlier because, like I said last week, that I hadn't gone to class because it was the freeze. So I went Wednesday, and I'm doing this one Friday night because tonight was really special. I'd mentioned it previously that we had our sensei that brought this style of EI from Japan to the US back in the 90s. He came by. He's retired, so he drove down from Denton, where his dojo is. He drove down here. And typically he would be driving down here this time of year. Well, actually, it's not even March. Funny thing. So typically right now, in my classes, or at least for EI, we'd be getting ready to getting ready for our test, because our test is always in March, usually around the weekend of the 20th, which is also like the worst day for me because it's it's the worst day for me because it's also my girlfriend's birthday, March 20th. So that's a fun one. But because it isn't happening this year, Sensei... Sorry. So, because the test isn't happening this year, we haven't seen the other dojos or other kancho, the other teachers, for about, like, over a year. It's been, like, almost a year and a half now. It's been a while. Like, it wasn't since like 2019 that I've seen most of these people. And like I'm saying, in March, typically we would get together and we'd all be testing together up in Denton, but because it didn't happen last year, the vaccinations are just now happening here in America and rolling out. So probably not going to happen. Well, it's not going to happen this year. We will see if it happens again if it can happen this next year. I'm optimistic, but it was nice to touch base with him again. He's always encouraging, and he always has such a different way of motivating you, which I appreciate. Because he went and he studied in Japan for, I think, a decade, because he went and taught English as a second language, and that's how he was able to stay over there, which I really want to do, honestly. I would love to go teach English in Japan and go train. That'd be so much fun. But he came to visit. He didn't come to watch us, he did come to watch us, but he didn't come to adjudicate us. He didn't come to, like, see every little thing wrong with our waza and see what was going on. He just wanted to come and check in. And I brought up to him that it's so strange that people of our generation and people, of my generation, I guess everyone really, not just my generation, but everyone's losing community really quickly. And I don't know, I have a hard time reaching out over the internet and staying that as a community. Like, I just don't get the same satisfaction or enjoyment that I would in person. So it's kind of strange, but when I'm in person and I get to see everybody and we all get to mix it up and we get to fight and we get to see where people's techniques are at and, like, different perspectives in person, I don't know. I miss it. I miss it a lot. And this is a completely different subject than this whole journal is supposed to be about. But I miss the theater community as well. I miss the fight community, the stunt community. I miss all kinds of community. Even my just small group of friends here in Houston. We meet on, we do some, like, video conference calls, and, we play some games sometimes, but it's not the same. It's always better to be in person, I feel like. But again, which is why I'm appreciative that he came down. So we have that sense of community, because we have, like, 3 or 4 students that have never even met John Ray Sensei, and he's a wonderful, wonderful resource to know and a great person who's a part of our dojo system. I mean, he's the one who brought it here. He's the whole reason it exists in the first place. But one of the big things that he wanted to touch on that I appreciate, or that he said he had noticed, what he said he had noticed in a lot of his students throughout these times were just the dropping of kihon, really basic, just basic techniques, just really basic ones like, hey, this is the placement of your feet, or this is the correct placement here. Like, there were a bunch of the way he said it, there were a bunch of people who were doing their own version of EI instead of everyone doing the same version of EI, which is incredibly important. Because yes, while the martial art is supposed to be adjusted to your height, size, stature, problems, knee issues, etc., there is a correct way of doing it. And if you don't do it the correct way, you're not going to cut through the person. You're not going to get a strong cut. You're not going to get a forceful push on the enemy. You're not going to complete it correctly. So that was really what he wanted to do, was he wanted us to take it back to square one and really focus on those fundamentals and those basics, which, that's something I love to do every day, because I think it's that Bruce Lee quote, I don't fear the man who's practiced 1,000 kicks once. I fear the man who's practiced one kick 1,000 times. And there's so much truth in that. Which is why it's a great quote. It's the same thing I notice with a lot of my art when it comes to creating or writing, that the point isn't to be more clever than your enemy, or to be more clever than the person, digesting what you're giving them. Where am I going? Like, when you get into a fight, you don't out clever yourself. Like, yeah, you want to out clever your enemy. You want to trick them. You want to win. You want to beat them. You want to kill them. Essentially, you want to win the fight. But if you just get caught up in your own, what you're doing, how you're looking, where each little piece is, and you don't even look at your enemy. You don't even pay attention to the obstacle in front of you, that it will kill you if you don't deal with it appropriately. So I appreciate the attention to basics, because that truly is where all learning stems from. I mean, it's a big thing in EI that we notice with our Waza, with all of our forms. A lot of the more advanced forms are just really nice or really complicated variations on previous forms. It's not that the previous forms don't work, it's that, there's a change in here, there's a change there. But all the basics are still the same. All the basics are still there. All the basics still apply. And it's always something to be mindful of and to always remind yourself, because you're going to forget them. You're going to be thinking too hard about trying to do this new thing that you're going to forget where your feet are. You're going to be trying so hard to be worried about where your hand placement is. You're hunched over and you're looking straight down at your feet instead of, at your enemy. It's, so my sensei for the dojo, she always likes to tell us you can only hold 3 marbles at a time. If you try and put more than 3 in there, one's going to pop out. So I usually try and keep it to 3 a class. But, where I was going with that. Well, I mean, it's never bite off more than you can chew. Because if you do that, you're just gonna have bad practice. You're gonna have bad form, you're gonna have a bad mentality, and you're going to have a bad way of going about it. It's not going to be correct. But that being said, before we get into Tabi time of this week, I did want to bring up our sponsor, H2O. I've been talking about him a lot recently. I appreciate y'all, purchasing him, drinking him. I don't know why I'm genderizing it. It's delicious. It's nutritious. It's exactly what you need. It's H2O. Drink it. You'll die if you don't. Tabi time. These are another set that I really like from Sensei. They are just like the red pair that I showed y'all the other week, of like the arrow feathers in the back, but instead of red this time, they're green. I don't know if y'all can see them, but that's what it looks like. Got the little toe. It's the left one. But these aren't like suede Tabi. These are just socks. The actual just cloth socks. No leather, no suede. Oh, I do have a pair of those. And I haven't really worn them to practice. They're not ones that I would usually wear. They're very smooth, but I'm not wearing those to practice. I'm going to get some suede ones and then wear those. But until then, I'll see y'all next week. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking on me. Any questions, comments, leave a like, subscribe, comment. Thanks for hanging out.